Okay. Hello, and welcome to this webinar. I'm just getting my act together. So welcome to a webinar to talk about Social Ventures Australia experience, the experience of our partners over 3 years of delivering the Employer Innovation Lab. I want to start by acknowledging that we meet on the traditional lands of various people. For me, I'm on Camaragal country at the moment. I want to pay respects to elders past and present and to any First Nations people joining us here today. So I'm really delighted to have the opportunity to, present this webinar, host this webinar. Over the course of the next hour, I'll be giving a bit of an overview from Social Ventures Australia's point of view of what we've tried to do with the lab, what we set out to do, and what the lab looks like. And then I'll hand over to our evaluators who've produced an independent evaluation report. So we've got Professor Jo Ingold and Dr. Chen-Yi Lee. To present their findings on the evaluation of the program over 3 years. Then we're delighted that we've been joined by 2 people from one of the employers that's participated in the program, so you get a chance to hear from them. And also we'll hear from one of the people who has participated as a youth consultant, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well, what that means. And finally, we'll come to a Q&A. And I should say that time is really tight, but please put questions in the Q&A text box, and we've got people online who will answer them, but also you're always welcome to follow up with us afterwards. All right, so let me talk a little bit about the Employer Innovation Lab and why Social Ventures Australia embarked on a process of embarked on this initiative. So the key thing that we're really responding to was evidence of declining labour market outcomes for young people in Australia. Productivity Commission did a report on young people's incomes, and they found that young people's incomes are declining relative to older people's incomes. And one of their conclusions was that the unemployment rate for young people in this case may no longer be useful as the primary measure of the health of the youth labour market, and instead more attention must be devoted to the types of jobs available. So why are young people's incomes declining? The Productivity Commission pointed to 2 things. One is underemployment, so getting some work but not enough to enable people to live a decent life, to get off income support. The other factor they pointed to was that young people are entering the labour market in lower skill jobs and climbing more slowly. And that, of course, is despite increasing numbers of young people completing high school, going on to further education. So there's a real issue about the types of jobs that are available for young people. And from where we sit, there's only one group that really can address that, and that is employers. So this is fundamentally about the types of jobs that employers make available to young people in the labour market. I should also signal that now more than ever, this is a critical issue because we see that while AI is not having a huge impact on the overall labour market, where it is having an impact is on entry-level jobs and on the youth labour market. So this issue of employers' role in creating good quality jobs, that is jobs that provide a decent wage, decent hours and opportunity for progression, is more important than ever. But of course, what we see is if we look around at where the investments in employment services are, they aren't in the employer side by and large. They are much more focused on doing things to and with young people. So they're much more focused on preparing young people, but that only works if the jobs are available. So we sought to do something on the employer side to support employers and motivate employers to do more to create good quality jobs. So the Employer Innovation Lab was born as a response to this problem. it emerged from an initiative that my colleague Simon Crabb, who's on the line, although not on camera today, saw in the United States, and we took the US model and we adapted it for Australia. And the lab itself is a 12-month process where we support employers or teams of people within employer organisations to think systematically about what is going on in their organisation and where they can create good opportunities for young people who are normally locked out. The focus here is on young people who don't have university degrees, because all the evidence tells us that they're the ones who tend to miss out. And those employers then design some sort of practice change or a number of practice change, test them, and the idea is that they will hopefully then go on to roll those out. This work is informed by young people's experience. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but that happens both prior to employers participating, but also we talk to their young workers if that's possible. But as I said, the aim is long-term change. So the first step, so we've run eight of these labs and we've refined the process over time. But the first step before we run an employer innovation lab is that we try to understand that local labour market. The lab is designed for medium to large size employers, so we need a critical mass of medium to large employers that are interested in engaging with this work. But importantly, we also understand what is going on for young people in that area. So in each location that we go to, we do interviews with young people who don't have university degrees, who have some experience of the labour market, but maybe haven't found the right job for them. And we talk to them about what their experience of employment is. And we use those insights to bring into our work with employers so that employers' actions can be informed by what is actually going on for young people in that labour market. Then we do that preliminary work to try to understand the field, make sure we're not duplicating anything. And then we run an initial, after we've recruited the employers, and that's a big job, so we can talk a little bit more about that. We run an initial 2-day workshop. There's a team of people from each employer, minimum 2, but we've had 5 or 6 from an employer. They come together, we run a 2-day workshop. They get to hear from other employers. So we have a panel of employers that have done this work before. They hear from each other in the room, and they get the chance to spend some time thinking about their own practices and trying to figure out what sorts of initiatives might work to open up more opportunities for young people who might otherwise miss out. And then on the second day of this process, we bring in what we call youth consultants. So these are young people who have this experience of working or trying to find good quality jobs in that local labour market. They're not there to apply for jobs, but they are there to help inform employers about their experience. And what happens is each employer gets the chance to test their ideas with the young people that are there. So this is a way of trying to bring in youth perspective and in a really current and relevant way on the initiatives that each employer has got that is working on. So the aim is that at the end of that first 2 days, they come out with a pilot idea that will increase access to good quality jobs for young people at risk of exclusion. And then in around 4 to 6 months after that initial workshop, we bring those employers back together to see how they're going, to brainstorm obstacles, and to essentially, give each other support through what an interesting process, a challenging process. Over the 12-month period of the program, our team has coaching sessions with each employer. So we do regular meetings with employers, essentially for as long as it takes. We have a skilled team with experience in working in employment services, with unemployed people, in diversity and inclusion, in HR. So we have the really talented and skilled team who meet with employers to help figure out how to get this idea from a very rough idea to actually implementation. One of the things that we offer to do is conduct focus groups of young workers who are already in the organisation. And that is really interesting because it brings new insights into the work. So it's astonishing what you can learn by simply asking young people what their view is of what's going on, what's going right and what's going wrong in the organisation. We provide tools and resources, and we broker relationships with employment services providers or other local services to help those employers create good, effective working relationships. And then the aim of this process is to have successful completion of a pilot moving to ongoing delivery. So what have we done over the 3 years or 3.5 years we've been doing this? We've run 8 labs. We've run them in Western Sydney, Western Melbourne. We run one in Tasmania, and we have done a lab in Melbourne with CIDA, the Children and Young People with Disability Australia, which was focused on young people with disability, again, those who don't have degrees, who are at risk of exclusion. We've worked with 51 employers, and through the course of their initial pilots, they have created opportunities for 445 young people. But what I should say is the more important thing about that is that it's not about the initial jobs created in the pilot, it's about the ongoing practices, because the idea is that once you change the practice, that creates ongoing opportunities. So what did we learn? We learned fundamentally that organisational change is really, really hard. You can have a great idea, but as soon as those teams walk away, then they have to deal with all of the organisational dynamics that often get in the way of any change initiative. So we, in response to that, have brought in a lot more focus on behavioural approaches, behavioural science approaches to organisational change, and we've brought forward a lot of discussion about how you get change to happen in your organisation through the workshops and in coaching. We've also realised through that process, and we're doing more work on frontline supervisors because they are critical to young people's experiences. They can either make this work or they can block it. So it's very important to think about that group. External drivers are incredibly important. When these initiatives fall over, it's often because the momentum goes out. There's a big change in the organisation, momentum goes out of it, not from the team that are pushing for it, but because there's a staffing freeze or because the direction changes. And what one of the interesting things for us was in the lab focused on young people with disability, for the first time, many of the employers had targets, but the lack of targets, the lack of emphasis on creating opportunities for low-income young people is a real barrier to sustaining powerful initiatives. Another key learning is around employment services. We've had wonderful relationships with employment services providers who've really understood the program and really got on board with working with employers and building strong relationships. But we've also had relationships that are less successful. And part of that is a misalignment between the volume, highly transactional nature of employment services and what we're trying to do, which is bring about long-term change, even if it's slow. Finally, youth voice is incredibly powerful, and I'll leave, I'm sure that our colleagues from Federal Group and Fiona will talk more about that, but we see that it's incredibly important to bring the insights from young people themselves, both in the workshops, in the focus groups, if that's possible, but also ongoing in organisations to ensure that work is informed by young people. So that's an overview, a very rushed overview of the Employer Innovation Lab, and of course I could talk forever on it, but I'm going to hand over to Jo and to Chen to talk about their evaluation, what they found, what they saw from their end.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay, it's a pleasure to be here this morning, and it's been a pleasure to be with Social Ventures Australia and with Lisa, Simon, and the rest of the team over this last 3 years, which has flown. And we have been evaluating the labs since the pilot, which was 2022, and then on from there. So my name's Jo Ingold, and I'm going to be sharing some background information that adds a bit to what Lisa says, and then I'll hand over to Chen to go through some of the findings, and it's a potted summary. Next slide, please, Chen. So firstly, I'd like to add to Lisa's acknowledgement of country. We are all on different lands this morning, and I myself am on Wurundjeri lands of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects. Thanks, Chen. So firstly, I just want to add to what Lisa said in terms of why is it so important to address the demand side. So Lisa's covered some of this, but firstly, it's to really add, fill a gap with a missing element. So as Lisa mentioned, employment services in particular, and Australia is not alone in this, employment services programs or active labour market policies and programs are designed with a real focus on the supply side. So as Lisa said, in this case, young people, and the demand side, so employers, businesses, has been neglected. And I liken it to if you had a labour hire or recruitment agency and you only basically did all your work with candidates, you wouldn't be very successful. So that's why we have all the shortcomings of employment service delivery that we have, and much of that is down to the design of programs and also the performance framework. So for the last 15 years, I've been looking at the dual customers, so particularly focusing on business engagement in employment services. And Chen and I have been looking at this in particular for the last 3 years across a suite of programs, including the labs, which have been fantastic. So we also know that there's low engagement of businesses in fostering pathways for what we call hidden talent. We use the strengths-based approach, so that is very much not talking about disadvantaged, marginalised, but talking about hidden talent. So basically introducing to businesses talent pools that they would normally overlook. And we know that there's engagement. The engagement of businesses in employment services in Australia is probably around the 5 to 10% at most, depending on which sources you look at. So extremely low because of that supply side focus. We know, as Lisa said, that businesses are the gatekeepers to employment, so that necessitates more work with organisations. And next is we also know that there are significant organisational benefits, and this comes from some other work we've done as well as what we found through the lab evaluation. So, and this is also backed up by other evidence across countries. So we know that there are significant organisational benefits to tapping into hidden talent pools, like young people from low socioeconomic backgrounds who face additional barriers, young people with disability. We know that there's increased retention, increased employee engagement, increased productivity, and you also get more diversity in decision making, team learning, customer satisfaction. We also see, as we've seen with the labs, decreased turnover and things like positive culture change, building internal labour market capacity as well. So having progression pathways and not just constantly being in that hiring kind of reactive mode. And at this point, I'm going to hand over, I think, to Chen to talk about the evaluation process and then to take you through the sort of top level findings.
Thanks, Jo. So I'm Chen. Together with Jo and a colleague of ours at University of Sydney, Angie Knox, we actually use multiple qualitative methods to do the evaluation. That included observing workshops, content analysis. We also conducted 59 in-depth semi-structured interviews with employers over sort of that 3.5 year period. We also ran a focus group with the coaching team closer to the to identify common themes that have emerged from the coaching process and how the lab evolved over time. This sort of combination of methods allowed us to track the labs over that 3-year journey. Overall, we found that the labs met their objectives, as outlined on the slide. 83% of employers reported practice change. I'll talk a little bit about what sort of practice change we were seeing in these employers in 1 or 2 slides down. 95% of employers reported an increased understanding of the labor market challenges impacting young people. And for the 5% who didn't demonstrate increased understanding, it was because they were already sort of very familiar with youth or young people, and they were very familiar with the challenges they faced. So even then, all of the participating employers found the tools and resources provided by the SVA team throughout the lab process extremely helpful and useful. And at the time of their second interviews, almost half of the employers that we spoke to had completed their pilot projects, and many others are still continuing with the implementation at this stage. So as Lisa said earlier on, at this point in time, 445 young people otherwise at risk of exclusion have secured ongoing employment. This slide sort of shows the summary of the lab process. In terms of the most impactful aspects of the labs themselves, 3 elements really stood out for employers. First was the coaching. Employers really said it helped keep them moving when their work might otherwise slip, and really having that external partner in SVA gave them ideas, as well as their ideas' credibility within the organization. Youth insights was a big one from the youth consultants. Being able to hear directly from them was described as really powerful and perspective shifting, especially when it came to things like their job ads, recruitment, workplace culture. And the third one was around the workshops themselves, which helped to create that time and space for employers to reflect, think about how they were going to roll out their pilot programs. The peer learning aspect from the workshops themselves really helped them realize they weren't alone and gave them a lot of practical inspiration. And these 3 elements really created that clarity, confidence, and momentum that employers needed. And that's where it sort of fed into that increased awareness of challenges that young people face. We were seeing policy and practice changes, the broader attitude and behavioral changes that all sort of fed into that long-term goal around systemic organizational change that the lab was trying to bring about. This particular slide, we were using a model that originally was from SVA, from a lab slide that they used to get employers to really think about how to enact systems change. And it's sort of that inverted pyramid that increasingly gets more challenging or difficult to enact or influence change. So what we've done is sort of under each different layer, we've sort of used an employer that we spoke to as an example to show here were specific things that they were doing. And we can see that on the first layer around organizational change, they considered their policy, their practices, and resource flows, where they were, recruiting specifically for specific roles, and they were focused on the candidate's suitability based on their personality rather than, say, qualification. They were very focused on rewording their inclusivity statement. In terms of practices, they were really proactive in offering workplace accommodations and job rotations for candidates. And they were really focused on the recruitment for specific projects that they had at that point in time. And the participants of the lab themselves, they were the champions of change within the organization, which kind of brings us to that second layer around relationships and connections, as well as power dynamics, where the champions were really focused on supporting the employees and the candidates and they, were being really sure that the team leaders or direct supervisors of the young people hired really understood the constraints they had. And they were balancing between that customer experience and employee well-being. And, all that fed into the assumptions and beliefs, which are less visible and can be more difficult to address. Through their pilots, they were able to see that people with disability have a better understanding of their customers with disability and were able to better support them. And it started that mindset change within the workplace where they saw young people with disability as just like, any other employee. And in terms of the workplace accommodations, for example, sometimes they're very, very simple things, and they are changes they make that would benefit everybody else in the workplace and not just that candidate or those employees. So in terms of, I guess, strengths of the labs that we've been able to see is not just sort of what changed in organizations, but also what made the change possible. And across the employers, 4 key levers consistently stood out. So the first one is around leadership support. So when senior management, so think your CEOs, senior leaders, they were very hands-on, changed, moved really quickly, and barriers disappeared. I think one employer mentioned they had a can-do CEO and they were able to create something out of nothing. Second is around internal commitment and communication. It wasn't really enough for senior leaders to be on board. The message had to reach sort of your supervisors and your frontline staff. Some organizations actually developed training specifically to translate intentions into their day-to-day practice. Thirdly, we have flexibility. The lab itself wasn't rigid. Employers could adapt pilot to their context, and that sort of iterative approach made the work more youth-friendly and realistic. And last one was around pilot success and scalability. So when teams saw real outcomes, that enthusiasm really grew, that scalable models gained more traction and were more likely to be embedded. And together, these sort of levers explain why some organizations move quickly and sustain change and why some others sort of struggled a little bit without them. I'll hand over to Joe really quickly to talk a little bit about our employer engagement toolkit, and then we'll hand back to the team at SVA.
Thanks so much, Chen. It's hard to actually do justice to what has occurred during the labs and to give anything other than kind of a guide, and you can read the evaluation report and the final report and the previous reports for more information to really capture that richness and also some detail on the examples of practice change. But just finally, we also would like to mention that for another project which SVA are also involved with, an Australian Research Council linkage, we're developing an employer engagement toolkit, and this also relates to some work we're doing for the Centre for Inclusive Employment, linked to the Inclusive Employment Australia replacement for DES, the DES programme. So we're currently doing a review of employer engagement resources, and then alongside we're also developing an employer engagement toolkit. And having done the review, we know that there aren't really many useful resources in this area. So the toolkit will be for employment service providers and also for businesses. There'll be two slightly different versions. So we would love it if you could come along and take part in some of the sessions we're running as we're developing the toolkit iteratively. So please bear that in mind and reach out to us, and we'll also be putting more information out on LinkedIn, including in the SVA LinkedIn group that the team have set up. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Joe and Chen. And they have been along to many events, so I'm hoping that we'll have time for questions and you can ask more about the experience. And it's been, of course, very helpful also to have another set of eyes over what we're doing to help understand as we go along what's emerging from the practice. So I want to now bring in Zoe and McKegg from Federal Group. So Federal Group is one of the employers that participated in the Employer Innovation Lab down in Tasmania. And we're hoping to hear from them about their experience in the lab and what it's meant from them. So thank you. Thanks for coming along. So I wanted to start off with just by getting you to introduce yourselves and talk about Federal Group and why it was that, what were the challenges that you were trying to address when you joined the lab?
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. It's great to be invited along today to talk a little bit more about our workplace and some of the amazing benefits that we've been able to get from participating in the lab. I'm the Learning and Development Manager for Federal Group, and we are largely based across Australia, but predominantly our workforce sits within Tasmania. And we mostly look after tourism and hospitality businesses. So when we were considering our workforce and some of the challenges that we were facing, predominantly around, I guess, attraction and retention, what support that the lab could provide us was really attractive to helping us, I guess, get another perspective as to a whole market that we hadn't really tapped into or had not successfully been able to penetrate. So that's just a little bit about us.
Kate, did you want to?
Yeah, sorry, I pressed unmute and it just aired on me. I'm McKegg. I'm a part of the talent acquisition team here at Federal Hospitality, and we were a fairly new team when the lab came up. So, kind of going off what Zoe said, it seemed like a really great opportunity to start challenging our thinking in that space as well. And we also had Chloe with us and the P&C team from Country Club as an advisor in that space as well. So the three of us were three heads that were ready to rock in this lab.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So tell us about your pilot. What did you do? What happened?
Yeah, I think I could go on for probably hour talking about the things that we did in the lab. But being from different areas, so me in talent acquisition, Zoe from learning and development, and then Chloe from the P&C side, we really wanted to see if we could hit three different pillars with our pilot. So we saw an opportunity with the new entertainment precinct opening, the Range. This precinct was an entertainment precinct, and it was going to be fundamentally engaging for youth, and we saw an opportunity to really open that door. And we wanted to start by removing barriers for young people that they would otherwise miss out in these three pillars. So we really focused on talent acquisition and attraction, the interviewing stage and assessments, and then that onboarding training piece. So we named our pilot Tee Off Your Career in line with the Range, which is a driving range two-story precinct. It's very fun if anyone gets the chance to go into Country Club in Launceston. And the talent acquisition part we started with by giving a complete makeover to our application forms. When we came on board, there was quite a lot of detail in there. There was a lot of vocabulary in there that was big and unnecessary. So we really brought them down to a clearer and concise. We wrote clearer ads and were more engaging about where we posted those ads, taking into account areas that might otherwise miss out, that maybe weren't encapsulating Country Club Launceston. We branched out a little bit further. And we aimed to partner with local jobs hubs, that we created a candidate profile of what we were looking for, gave it to these jobs hubs and different partners to see if they had anybody on their books that was looking for work in that demographic, that they would come straight to us and kind of remove that barrier of going to the form, filling out the application, and we could assist with that process. So in the talent space, we really tried to hone things down. We also added a function into our application form, which was a video application. So we understood that not everyone's CV was great. There could be gaps. Some people like to introduce themselves and they felt more comfortable. So we added that as an option for candidates to introduce themselves to this new precinct. With the interviewing and assessment stage, we really focused on personality, transferable skills, and what they could bring to the roles, which we called caddies, which were food and beverage attendants that were going to assist in the range. And that assessment center really was looking to see, can you bring the personality? Are you going to be reliable? Are you going to be fun? We can teach you to pour a beer and do the POS and the systems, but we wanted to see the personality and bring that energy that we were looking for. We ran massive assessment centers rather than one-on-one interviews. And the assessment centers were offered both evening and afternoon to, again, open that door for people that might have caring responsibilities or another job and they were looking to move into this market, or school. So we offered 2 sessions of assessment centers, both afternoon and evening. And these assessment centers were so much fun. We had a blow-up driving range. I could just talk about the assessment center in and of itself, but we didn't want to limit people. So we also offered an opportunity for people to contact us and say that they weren't comfortable with an assessment center and that we could provide a one-on-one interview. We actually only had one person out of our whole NCAT application process actually opt for that. Everybody opted to come to the assessment centers, which I found amazing. Then the onboarding training piece was fantastic. Zoe and Chloe really provided a safe space for candidates, and they did group-sized onboarding. So you had your colleagues and people around you that were going to be working with you, and they were able to create a safe space that allowed candidates to open up if they had struggles with learning, or wanted to open a conversation about not understanding or training. And they were able to carry that through all the way to not only the onboarding side of things, but into their training of the range, because the range hadn't opened yet. We saw another opportunity to get everybody hands-on learning how they learn, whether it was instruction-based or following them through or helping them, whatever it was. They were also able to do a flexible session again, both afternoon and evening. So again, really trying to keep these barriers limited for everybody to be able to attend those onboarding sessions in any way that they could. And the results of this, where we've had very low turnover at the range, it's been incredibly successful. I think across the board, we've had 49 staff come on board and very limited leave. I think people are leaving for uni. Those are the only people who have left to go out of state. And we've had a strong progression. So talking about youth looking for the underemployment, we've able to offer people permanent contracts, part-time and full-time contracts. And one person coming out of this pilot actually stepped into our assistant operations manager, was a role that didn't exist when we opened the range. So it's been quite amazing. And what's next is taking everything we learned and applying it across the business. Video applications are on all application forms now for talent. We do them for video submissions for specific roles, and we run assessment days now whenever possible in bulk. If we have to do a lot of recruitment, we will try and run an assessment center. And the team in learning and development have been working very hard to centralize an onboarding process where they've taken everything they've learned and now formalizing it to a bigger process that we're going to be implementing as a group. So that's going to be really exciting as well. So stick around. I'm sure we have lots more.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for talking about, that process, but also the outcomes, which are, sound incredibly positive. I wondered if you could reflect on what difference it made working with SVA through this process. What were the bits that were helpful? How did it change what might have happened otherwise?
I think, I guess, reflecting on behalf of the team who are involved in the lab, it really it gave us that support and mentorship that I think without it, we would have still had the same intentions, but maybe gone a little off track or not have had the same amount of follow through or drive to really see our initiatives through. Plus the expertise of just the team at SVA and learning from the other employers in the room, that can't be replicated, I believe, in any other fashion. So it was really life-changing in a way to hear from the youth directly, having them come into the room and being able to ask them questions, get them to look at our existing applications, understanding some of our job ads, and really hearing what they would want to see and what's important to them. I think we potentially had a lot of assumptions about what youth would want. We were all youth one day, once upon a time, but it's certainly, I feel like we were very lucky to have had the opportunity to work with the varied stakeholders that we were able to work with. What about you, McKeg? Anything you can add?
I think you've hit everything. I could just really agree with Zoe. I think it was so impactful. And we were able to do that pilot because our thinking was challenged in that lab. And I think it created a safe space, both with the other employers and with the team, to kind of ask really crazy questions. And from that, yes, they didn't work, but they were able to step down and offer certain sessions, and it gave us that kind of psychological safety to ask really crazy things, and it was a lot of fun, and so we had some really great outcomes from it.
Thank you so much. Actually, you've given me a great intro to introduce Fiona, who's one of the youth consultants who's participated in a couple of labs now, I think. Fiona, so while Fiona comes on screen, I'll just tell you about the role of youth consultants. So at each workshop, we have the opportunity for employers to meet with young people who've experienced some of the challenges we're addressing, but really to get their feedback and input. So they're not there to apply for jobs, they're there to advise. So that's why they're called youth consultants. And Fiona, really, thank you so much for joining us. Keen to hear from you about what you think some of the challenges are that young people face, and then to reflect on your experience of being a youth consultant in the labs.
Yeah, of course. I think it's definitely a very big privilege for me to be here and to reflect on my experience as a youth consultant. So just as a little intro, Fiona, I am a young person who's done a lot of work in youth mental health and also in the realms of youth employment and education as well, just really wanting to improve equity and improve experiences of young people potentially joining the workforce or rejoining the workforce as well. And I feel that some of the really big challenges that I face, that my peers face, is a big combination, but oftentimes it's that mismatch between expectations and reality from an employer's perspective. So what I mean by that is, for example, when you're looking at getting your first job and you go and have a look on a job seeking website and it mentions entry level. However, when you look deeply into it, it actually demands 2 years of experience, and it really feels like that door is closed before we even have a chance to reach it. And another component of that is not knowing where to go for support or for an employment, because it sometimes does feel like processes are already designed for people who already know the system. You might be required to fill out really long forms. You might be required to do like a psychometric test. You might be required to do interviews that are structured in particular ways that can really shut out young people who haven't had much exposure to those professional environments. And so there's a lot of really big challenges and just feeling really disoriented. And once you do get into the workplace, I've heard so many anecdotes from my peers and from friends around not feeling supported during onboarding and training, feeling a pervasive bias against young people in the workplace as well, and feeling like their line management or leadership in the workplace aren't equipped with the skills or confidence to really work with young people. Something that I hear all the time is, the notion that young people are lazy. We don't want to work hard. We just want to stay at home, and that's how we want to live our life. However, I strongly against that belief. Young people are so resilient and are so creative, and sometimes workplaces, as they're set up as they are, if they don't provide these accommodations or adjustments, or if they aren't open to hearing from young people, such as through these employer innovation labs, it is such a really sad missed opportunity for a lot of collaboration and a lot of involvement from young people to really do the best they can and contribute as well.
Yeah, I think you really, nailed it in terms of speaking to many of the issues that young people, raise throughout the research that we do and also as youth consultants. Can you reflect on your experience in the lab itself? Like what was it like to be in that room? What sorts of questions were employers asking? Like what impact did you feel like it was having?
Yeah, of course. I think I definitely felt quite intimidated during my first Employee Innovation Lab. I think it really flipped the traditional power dynamics young people face when engaging and interacting with workplaces or potential employers, or it takes some time to settle in. But what I did find is the participating workplaces in the labs were really, really open to hearing the perspectives of youth consultants such as myself and other young people in the room around, what's worked, what hasn't worked, are there any really blue sky ideas that you would want to see us implement, and what are the obstacles that we might often overlook. And for example, I think about times where employers have really taken a lot of time to consider barriers like transport costs, uniform expenses, access to laptops and equipment, and even understanding young people's life commitments outside of work, be it say studying or caring responsibilities. And so I think it was quite powerful to really be able to sit in a room across a whole range of teams and to be listened as an equal, and to feel that our experiences were being taken into account, and we were able to shape different ideas and to really bring our own experiences into a particular initiative from the very get-go, rather than having employers try out something new, see it doesn't work the way they want to, and maybe potentially step away from trying it out again in the future. So it was really great just to see their openness to changing different ideas. And when I joined the Reconnect event, where employers are participating in workplaces met after some time after the initial labs, it was also just really good to see the impact of where young people's voices have created that real change in the workplace, and to have led to potentially even more young people joining the workplace, and to really be that representation there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and it was great to have you and some others join various Reconnect workshops, because one of the bits of feedback that we get from youth consultants each time is it would be great to know what happens next. So that's one of our ongoing areas that we're trying to figure out how to work on. So look, I'll invite all Jo, Chen, Zoe, McKeag back, to show themselves again. In case there are any questions from the audience, but also any reflections for each other now that you've heard each other talk, I will just comment on one of the questions in here, which was about the size of employers and whether that makes a difference. So the lab, I think the smallest employer that we've had in the lab has had about 170, 180 people. It does require some investment of time. So you do need a couple of people to be involved, to work together and to bring different insights through this particular lab. We are talking about how we could do something for smaller businesses, but what one of the challenges is to replicate that peer learning, that that team learning that happens in the lab that we can see is really useful. So in terms of size, we've had a range, and I believe that the size of each of the 50-odd organisations is in the actual evaluation report. I would say that some of the sweet spot is around the medium size, so the 200, 500 employees, partly because they have more capacity to act quickly. But having said that, there are larger organisations who have done really effective pilots, and of course larger organisations have enormous capacity to change things at a big scale. But one of the things I would also say is that what is very intentional about the lab, and what we talk about all the time, is that this is that it's more important to act than to have a plan. So, of course, planning is important, and there's a lot of work, as you can tell, intentional work that goes into figuring out what the design is and working through, what's going to happen next. But too often organisations have plans around diversity and equity or whatever, but don't actually implement. And this is all about acting, even managing your risk up front, but acting, experimenting, getting the best insights so that you can move forward. And I think that is one of the things that differentiates this. And too often larger organisations get stuck in planning, and that takes so much time, it sucks all the energy out of the issue. I will pass over to others in the group for any reflections, having heard from each other, and then I'll have a bit of a look at the questions as well and see if there's anything else. Jo or Chen, did you want to add anything to what you've already said, or had any reflections having heard others talk?
Chen, anything from you in terms of the evaluation? I guess in terms of size, yeah, I added in the chat, I didn't talk specifically about size, but we do we have got the size documented in the evaluation report. But I'm aware that I also talked about things like what drivers, like social procurement or diversity and inclusion strategies, which was part of the question. And that we found was important as a driver for change. But as I think the findings over this number of years really show is particularly, two key things that I suppose I'd underscore along with what Chen said, and she did cover this, but was it certainly the role of the coaches and that accountability. So as you said, Lisa, it's not just about having a plan, but also about acting, even if starting small, and having that the coaching as an ongoing element of the labs was so important. In repeatedly organizations said that held them to account. And also, of course, the other thing was the involvement of youth and youth voices, the youth voices reports that you did in the local labour markets where the labs were held, and also have the power really of being in the same room, supply demand side of employers and young people themselves, but hearing those experiences from young people of the barriers faced and barriers that are created by organizations, and in addition to barriers that are sort of more structural in terms of society. So that was the other really powerful thing that I'd say in terms of our observations from the evaluation over the years, and having the different elements were so important, and having that structure, and also having more than one person from an organization to take part in the lab. So again, there was that sort of shared accountability, and there were some great examples in the case studies as well. I think there's a link in the chat, and they really, I'd say the case studies and all of the materials on your website, Lisa, are really, and the evaluation all kind of complement each other. So there's plenty of material for anyone on the call to look at.
I think I might just add to what Jo was talking about. I was just thinking about sort of organizational sizes and us speaking to the employers. I think there are similarities and differences regardless of the size of the employer and how they operate. But I think it's that, I guess, contribution to community of practice and sort of working together for a bigger social impact in a way around, trying to change, yes, practices and policies within the workplace, but also contributing to that grander scheme of, just changing the challenges that youth face, and that also benefits the employer around don't like to use this word, future-proofing, Joe, but thinking about, their career pipeline, the talent pipeline down the line, passing on really important skills from their current workforce to their future workforce is a big thing for them as well. And I think what employers really, really enjoyed from the lab process, or they found really beneficial, aside from all the things that we've talked about, is that opportunity to share, to give back, but also be able to see, hey, there's other organizations that are larger than us or smaller than us, and we face very similar problems, and here's some ways they go about doing it. Is it something that I can put in place in our workplace, or can we tweak it a little bit? Or they might hear a problem that somebody else is having and they've had that same problem and they've managed to deal with it in a specific way, and being able to kind of put their hand up and say, have you considered doing this? And then having those chats outside of the lab, or outside of that focus on only young people, for example. It's not just only about young people, but it's about practice change and systemic change, which they put front and center as well.
Okay, Zoe, did you want to add to that or comment on that?
I probably just, as the were speaking, I probably throw to McKeag. Sorry to put you on the spot, McKeag, but I guess one of the biggest changes, or one of the barriers that we came up with in the pilot initially, was the mindset of our existing leaders, and coming from not that youth cohort, they were quite fixed in, I guess, some of the bias or the prejudice towards the younger cohort, and whether or not it was really worth investing in this sort of this pilot project. And McKeag, you could speak to it better than I can, just to again put you on the spot.
Yeah, Zoe's right. We really did have a challenge initially, but the labs really kind of allowed us to shape our vocabulary and how we approach those topics with our line managers and our executives, and asking quite bluntly, to be honest, like the question, just why? If someone was saying, oh, they're not suitable, we really were, and line managers didn't always have an answer for the question. They're thinking based on us questioning our own thinking in these labs and having that support and hearing from other employers as well. I think sometimes we do have our blinders on, that we're unique and the struggles are just ours, but there were people from several different industries that were having very similar conversations. So yeah, it was a very opening experience, and that vocabulary really transitioned to all departments. It wasn't just the range or front of house. If it's sort of seeped into, especially in talent acquisitions team, we hear the conversations over and over again with line managers of the same roles, but we're like, well, what's not working here? Let's ask the question as to why. And we're really building that. And now line managers are coming to us saying, I don't want to recruit. Let's go internal and ask the question first. And I'm like, that's great. Let's do that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. But thank you so much. And that issue of mindset shift, has been one of the powerful insights from this program, and one of the things that we're continuing to pursue is thinking about what more can be done, so that there are people who come along to the lab who have that experience, but what can we do around frontline supervisors to try to address some of those issues. And also, there was a question in the chat about focus groups of existing young workers. That was something that we've really pushed in the last couple of labs. And what we realise is that there are assumptions that people make in general about young people, but there are also assumptions that people make specifically about what's happening for young people in their organisation. So it's been a really useful tool to perhaps uncover some things that were unexpected, including really great things that people love about working for the place, as well as challenges. So we're out of time, so I'm just going to finish by a bit of by thanking our speakers, by thanking both Zoe and McKeag for partnering in this work and for doing this amazing work that's having an impact in Tasmania, and also sounds like a lot of fun, actually. I think I want to go to one of these virtual pop-up things. Fiona, thank you for your ongoing support of the program and participating in your generosity and coming and talking to us. Thank you also, Joe and Chen and Angie in absentia. It's been, you put a huge amount into understanding the program, and it's been incredibly valuable for us to have you follow this journey with us. And of course, to the employers that we work with, that we have worked with. So this is, sorry, I'm getting my slides a bit mixed up here, but here's a bit of an indication of the employers that we've worked with that have come along for this journey. So I want to really thank them for all their effort to make the world a better place and to actually improve outcomes so that young people, the next generation, actually does have better living standards than their parents, that their incomes don't continue to decline. We have been supported in this work by both funding partners, but also partners like CIDA, Children and Young People with Disability, who we co-delivered a wonderful lab with that was funded by DUA, so I want to recognise that their contribution, as well as our major funders, Macquarie and Paul Ramsay Foundation. And in terms of what's next, so we have a lab coming up. So please, anyone you know, friends, family, any organisations that could benefit from participating, we have a lab coming up in Western Melbourne in May. We really need employers to get involved. Once they get involved, we find that they really enjoy it, and it's both professionally rewarding as well as a great way of trying to get some change happening in areas that might have been stalled. So please sign up. You can see the career ladder email address, and I think we'll put something in the chat. Also wanted to just mention the Fair Chance Initiative. So one of the things I think I said is that it can be very hard to get employers to participate in the program, even though it's offered free because of the philanthropic and government funding. And what that reflects is a broader lack of awareness of the challenges facing young people, particularly young people from low socioeconomic backgrounds. So the Fair Chance Initiative is an effort to raise awareness of the challenges to economic mobility, income mobility in Australia, and employers' role in ensuring that everyone, no matter what postcode they come from, no matter what their background is, has the chance to achieve their potential at work. And finally, I guess I just want to say that what the initial starting point for this work was to test the proposition that it was important and is important to work with employers, and that can be done in a way that is useful for the employers, that achieves their business objectives, but also creates good outcomes for those who might otherwise miss out. And I hope, and I would encourage you to have a read of the evaluation, but also encourage you to think about the role of employers and to, I guess, support efforts to engage more with employers as we try to address this issue of future generations and making sure that they have as good outcomes as those of us who've come before. So thank you so much for coming along today. The recording will be made available. The evaluation is there. And please reach out to us if you want to find out any more about this work, would like to get involved in either Fair Chance or in the next lab. So thank you so much.